Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the things you once believed were right may actually have harmed many people. Imagine looking back at your life and wondering, did I make the right choices? This is the emotional and powerful journey that Kazuo Ishiguro takes readers through in The Artist of the Floating World. At first glance, the novel might seem like a simple story about an old man remembering his life. However, as the story unfolds, it becomes a deep, emotional, and thought provoking journey about guilt, pride, family, memory, regret, and how people struggle to live with the consequences of their choices. Through quiet in tone, the novel slowly pulls readers in and leaves them questioning how much of our past truly defines us. The story is set in Japan shortly after the Second World War between 1948 to 1950. Japan is a broken nation trying to heal from the pain and destruction caused by war. Cities have been damaged, families torn apart, and people are trying to rebuild their lives. The country is also changing socially and politically. New ideas are replacing the old beliefs, especially the patriotic ideas that once encouraged people to support war. In the middle of all these changes lives an elderly painter named Masuji Ono, the narrator and the main character of the novel. Ono was once respected and influential in society. He was not just an ordinary artist. People admired him. They listened to him and saw him as important. However, the respect he once enjoyed seems to have faded after the war, and this change deeply troubles him. Ono lives in a large house, but behind the comfort of his home lies loneliness and sadness. He lost both his wife and son during the war. Although he rarely speaks openly about his pain, readers can feel the emptiness that surrounds him. He spends much of his time reflecting on the past, trying to understand whether his life choices helped or harmed people around him. The novel becomes especially interesting because Ono himself tells the story. Yet readers soon realize that he may not always be telling the complete truth. Sometimes he changes details, forgets events, or even avoids painful memories. This makes the reader wonder, can memory always be trusted? Or do people sometimes reshape the memories to protect themselves from guilt? Before the war, Ono had lived a very different life. As a young man, he trained under a respected artist called Morisan. Morisan specialized in paintings of beauty and pleasure, especially scenes from entertainment district filled with restaurants, music, laughter, and nightlife. These places were known as the quote unquote the floating world, a world of temporary happiness and escape from life's struggles. The title of the novel, An Artist of the Floating World, comes from this idea. On one level, it refers to Ono's early life as an artist painting entertainment scenes. On another deeper level, the title symbolizes how life itself is unstable and always changing, like something floating that never stays in one place forever. However, Ono eventually begins to feel dissatisfied with simply painting beautiful scenes. He starts believing in that art should do more than entertain people. He believes artists should guide society and shape the future of the nation. As Japan becomes more nationalistic before the war, Ono abandoned his old style and began producing political paintings that supported patriotism, nationalism, and loyalty to the government. At that time, Ono strongly believed he was helping his country. He thought he was inspiring people and to work hard and defend Japan. He felt proud of his influence and believed he was making meaningful contribution to the society. Japan loses the war and many people begin blaming leaders and influential citizens who had supported nationalism for helping push the country into destruction. Suddenly, beliefs that once earned respect become shameful. The same idea Ono once proudly defended are now criticized. This change forces Ono to confront painful questions, and he asks himself, was I wrong? Did I contribute to suffering? Did my art influence people negatively? One of the most emotional parts of the novel revolves around Ono's younger daughter Noriko and her marriage arrangements. In Japanese society at the time, marriage was taken very serious. Families investigated each other carefully before agreeing to marriage proposals. Reputations mattered greatly. Earlier, one marriage arrangement for Noriko mysteriously failed. Ono begins to suspect that his political past may have damaged her chances. Perhaps the other family learned about his role in supporting nationalists' ideas and decided they did not want to associate with such a family. This possibility deeply worries Ono. He starts wondering whether he should openly admit responsibility for his past actions or even apologize to Noriko's future in-laws. Yet this is not easy because Ono is also a proud man. Like many people, he struggles between protecting his dignity and admitting painful truths. Noriko herself is lively, warm, and cheerful. She sometimes jokes with her father, making the family moments feel real and human. Yet beneath the laughter lies worry about her future and the pressure of marriage expectations. She gently hints that, perhaps, Ono is exaggerating his importance or remembering events differently. At times, Setuk almost seems to suggest that Ono's guilt may be bigger in his own mind than in reality. Setsuko is Ono's other daughter. Maybe people are not thinking about him as much as he fears. This creates one of the most fascinating questions in the novel. That is Ono truly guilty? Or is he simply haunted by regret and fear? Another painful memory that reveals Ono's character involves his former student Kuroda. Kuroda believed art should remain free and should not be used for political propaganda. He disagreed with Ono's nationalistic beliefs. Instead of supporting him, Ono reported Kuroda to authorities during the political tense years before the war. This decision destroyed Kuroda's future and caused him great suffering. After the war, Ono is forced to live with this memory. Though he rarely admits it openly, readers sense deep regret beneath his calm words. Through this event, the novel teaches an important lesson about how dangerous blind loyalty, political pressure, and misuse of power can become. The novel also beautifully explores the conflict between generations. Japan, after the war, is changing rapidly. Young people are beginning to embrace Western culture, especially American influence. Ono's grandson, Ichiro, becomes a symbol of this change. Ichiro is Setuko's son. Unlike older generation who value military strength and traditional honor, Ichiro loves cowboys, movies, and modern entertainment. He admires American heroes more than traditional Japanese figures. To Ono, this changing world feels unfamiliar. Yet, he slowly begins to accept that society must move forward. One of the most powerful themes in the novel is guilt and responsibility. Ono spends much of the story trying to understand whether he should feel guilty for his past role in the society. The novel does not give easy answers. Instead, Ishiguro invites readers to think deeply about responsibility. Should people be judged forever for mistakes they made while believing they were doing the right thing? Can people truly move on without accepting responsibility on the other hand? Another important theme is memory and truth. Because Ono narrates the story himself, readers only see events through his eyes. Yet, his memory sometimes feels uncertain or incomplete. This reminds us that human memory is complicated. People often remember events differently depending on emotions, pride, fear, or regrets. Pride is another major theme. Ono cares deeply about respect and reputation. Even when he feels guilty, he struggles to openly admit mistakes because doing so threatens the image he has built of himself. This makes him feel deeply human because many people also struggle to apologize or to admit wrongdoing. For teenagers studying these texts, the novel offers valuable life lessons. It teaches that choices have consequences. Sometimes, some of the consequences might last for years. It shows the danger of blindly following ideas without questioning them. It reminds us that change is part of life and people must learn to adapt. Most importantly, it teaches that reflection on mistakes does not make someone weak. Actually, it helps people grow. Although the novel might feel slow at first, readers who stay patient often discover its emotional depth. Ishiguro writes in a calm and thoughtful style, hiding important truths beneath ordinary conversations. It feels almost like solving a puzzle where every memory slowly reveals something deeper about Ono and the society around him. In conclusion, An Artist of the Floating World is a far more than a story about an old painter. It is a touching story about memory, about family, regrets, identity, and change. Through Masuji Ono, Kazuo Ishiguro explores what happens when people look back on their lives and question the choices they once proudly made. The novel leaves readers with unforgettable lesson. That is, people cannot change the past, but they can choose how they face it. Sometimes healing begins when we honestly confront our mistakes and allow ourselves to move forward. Thank you and bye bye for now. Remember to subscribe to our channel, like, share, and enjoy. Let us know which novel you'd like us to review next. Bye for now.